What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlayboyGamer.com, and in the last Dynasty video, we took on Cal in the Fiesta Bowl and got beat 49-35. They were arguably the most talented team in the country. Somehow they lost a couple of games, but they had just way too many dudes in the 90s. Their halfback was a 99 overall, ran all over us, as you could tell by the box score at the bottom there. It was just rough. They were just better than us, so I'm okay in admitting that. But that means we are done with the season, which means today we're going to head into the off season. We're going to do some recruiting, do some position changes, all that fun stuff. But before we do that, let's look at a few things. First of all, who we got coming in so far. We got 3 players, a wide receiver, a defensive tackle, and an outside linebacker. You look at our current situation, we got 58 players coming back supposedly. Anytime somebody wants to leave pro early or transfer out, I just go ahead and let them do that. Just makes for better roster turnover and just makes things a little more challenging. But you do 70 minus 58, that gives you 12 spots. We got those 3 coming in, which means we technically only got 9 spots to fill, roughly. So kind of keep that in mind. Notice what it said we're looking for. Halfback, at least one, a fullback, which we don't use a fullback, so I'm not worried about that. And it says we need at least 1 middle linebacker. But let's go check out our roster. And I've already made notes on what I need, so let's start off. Going through each position, of course, Fowler will be gone, but we got plenty of quarterbacks here, so we don't have to worry about that. He is the lone senior. It wouldn't shock me if somebody else wanted to transfer out because no one would see the field. That would be nice if that actually happened, to be honest. Halfback, this is going to be our biggest need. On purpose, I chose not to go after that Rio kid from Texas because I want to get more speed in the backfield. We need more guys like Jonathan Doty. He had a great freshman season. Whitaker is gone, so according to my notes, I'd like to have at least 2 more halfbacks. What I'm hoping is, due to the low numbers, you need at least a minimum of 3. We'll have extra halfbacks will be interested. If not, hopefully we can find some athletes that can move over. Fullback, we don't use them, so I'm not worried about that. They'll just put a walk on here. I'm not going to waste points nor a scholarship on a fullback since they'll never see the field. Wide receiver, we already got 1 committed. I don't need any more. We got 1 that's leaving that's going to replace that senior, which in this case it is Matt Thomas. So we should have 7 guys on this list heading in the next season, again, unless somebody wants to leave early. Now, I will, if I don't forget, I'm actually going to write this down. Wide receiver Kirk, I am going to try to move him to tight end. If you notice, his speed is a 76. That's just not going to cut at wide receiver in our offense. So we're going to try to move him over the tight end. He's 6'3", 222. I think he could do okay there. He can't do any worse than what he's doing now, but we do have him redshirted. Speaking of tight ends, all these guys should come back. It wouldn't shock me if Neil maybe wanted to go pro early, and if he does, again, we're going to let them go. Hopefully he doesn't want to, though. But we are fine here. I don't need anything else at tight end. Tackle, I think we're okay here as well. We already got 5 on the list, and they all should be coming back. Guard, we got nothing but freshmen. I didn't plan it that way. I wish I didn't have it that way, but we do got a couple. I think I got at least, 1 guy that's going to be redshirting. So we'll have next year 4 sophomores and a freshman, but we don't need any more. Center, we don't need anything here. Actually, we do. I got 1 senior who doesn't even play, this kid right here, Jonathan House, but we got a sophomore and a freshman. I wouldn't mind finding 1 more, but that's not the biggest need in the world. Defensive end, I'd like to have 1 more. We got 1 guy leaving, Anthony McKenzie, as you see right here. I'd like to replace him. I'd like to have 5 on the list at all times. Defensive tackle, we got 1 committed, but since we run a lot of 5-2, we need a little extra help here. I actually wouldn't mind finding 1 more, so we're going to have 5, but I wouldn't mind finding 6, and I can redshirt somebody. That would be ideal. Outside linebacker, we got 1 committed, and we only play 1 at a time, so we are good at this position. And the 1 senior that is leaving is Charles Hall, who never plays. Middle linebacker, we need a little help here. I'd like to have at least 1. That would be ideal because we're losing 2. We're losing Eric Sanders, unfortunately, him being injured, and Brian White. I don't remember playing much at all. So I'd like to have but at least 1 more would be great. We only play 1 at a time, too. Cornerback, we don't need any help here. We got, looks like at least 6 coming back, and if 1 or 2 wanted to leave, that's fine. However, we do play a lot of nickel and dime if we got the bodies to do so because I run so much man. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I don't think I'll need anybody here. Free safety, we got plenty of bodies. They all should be back, so I'm not worried about that. And then strong safety, we have everybody coming back as well. I don't need another body there. And when it comes to kicker, we got a sophomore. I'm not worried about that. Punter, we are losing our starter, Patrick Henderson, but we got a backup behind him who's a senior. However, I do need one because of that. Maybe we can redshirt somebody and get them ready for the season after that. So according to my list, I got about 8 or 9 things that I need. So hopefully we can get all of those. All right, having said all that, I think we're ready to head into the off season. Let's go ahead and do that. So what we got coming up first is budget. So as we know, this is going to be a very small recruiting class. Like I'm going to go like 30. And we'll probably go 45 right here. I may even do like 25. Again, we barely will bring in 10 guys. So I may do like 50% for training. I'm going to keep discipline at 25. I've noticed the last couple of seasons, we've had several guys getting in trouble. So I'm going to keep that there. But we got so many players coming back. Hopefully this training will definitely help out. So let's see what happens if I can do it at 25. I'm almost hesitant to probably go back to, actually, let's just do this just to be safe, because you never know. We may have some guys that want to leave early. So let's move on to players leaving. And the next thing we're going to look at is see if anybody wants to go pro early or transfer out. We'll definitely let them do so. Then I will update my notes as we go along. So we only got one guy who wants to leave, Brian Mills, a transfer. I don't think he played hardly at all. I think he was our third stringer. He wants to go to Bowling Green. I'm going to let him do that. I may, I'll go ahead and put tight end as a need. I'll go ahead and just put one, just see if we can replace him. However, we are going to move that Kirk kid over, so this actually may not be that big of a need anyway. So I think this is a good spot to be in. All right, let's head in to recruiting. It is time to recruit. Now, before we dive into it, I want to mention a new rule to my recruiting. So I got one rule now. I can go after any player in state, but 3-star and below everywhere else. But I'm going to add one extra rule. Now that we are a 5-star program, I still think we're a 5. We can actually go back and check. I think we can go to... let's see. Can we go to Sports Illustrated? No, I can't do that yet. Either way, I'm pretty sure we are still a 5-star program. I think we're ready to amp it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recruit any JUCO player I want. So I was thinking about JUCOs a while back, and I think Iowa State is a perfect place where, JUCOs would go to. Instead of like a 5-star freshman from California, I can see a 5-star JUCO kid may want to go there. So any JUCO kid I can go after, any in-state player I can go after. The rest of it's going to be 3-star and below. All right, so that's a very simple rule. That's going to give us a few extra better players. Not a whole lot. Again, it's just JUCO guys, but I think it's going to add a little more flair to it, and it'll add more to the roster turnover. So the next thing we're going to look at is pipeline. So we got Illinois as a pipeline. We need to definitely keep it. We got Florida as a pipeline, and we got Texas. Those are the big 3. I want to keep those. So let's start off with interested prospects. A bunch of 5-star kids interested, obviously, because we've been doing well the last couple of seasons. But again, in-state and JUCO, I can go after whatever. Everywhere else, 3-star and below. So let's go ahead with athletes. We got several 3-star kids here that are interested. Let me see. Hazard. Oh, Hazard. That's actually really close to me. Let's go look at, I'm going to try to keep it local. New York, Arkansas. Here's a JUCO 3-star kid. He is a quarterback, more than likely. He could probably play something else, but we don't need him. Florida, let's go ahead and just take a chance on scouting this guy. I'm always a big proponent on scouting a bunch at the beginning of recruiting cycle, first week. This guy's 4.39, A-. We'll just see. Who knows what he can play, to be honest. He's probably a wide receiver, maybe. It'd be nice if he was a halfback, too. So let's go ahead and scout him. What else we got? Kid out of Louisiana and an Illinois kid. Let's go ahead and just scout him. Oh, he is. Actually, no, he's a quarterback. I'm not going to bother. It's not worth it. Kansas, and Kansas is actually pretty close. Let's go ahead and scout this guy. 4.46, A+ hands. I'm not going to put a scholarship on them just yet, though. Nothing really catches my eye. I only put scholarships on guys that just make complete sense for me to go after. So there's not a whole lot here on the athlete side of things. Quarterback, again, we got too many bodies here. We already got 6 on the roster, so I'm not going to bother. Here's where we need some help here. So halfback. Here's a 5-star kid out of New York. He's not a JUCO guy, so I'm not going to bother. What about these 4-star guys? None of them are JUCO, so now we can just go back to the 3-star and below everywhere else. So like here's a JUCO and whatnot. So let me go ahead, and what I need to find is speed and guys who can catch the ball a little bit, obviously. This guy doesn't look like he can do that, so I'm going to keep going. Let me see. We got several 3-stars to look at. So here's a kid out of Kansas. Let me go ahead and scout this guy. 4.31 A+, Jared Shack. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on him. He just looks the part of what I need. Missouri, that is super close, but C+ hands, I can't imagine that going up to A, so I'm not going to bother on the scouting with him. Kid out of Minnesota, I'm not going to worry about that. Hawaii, Texas kid, 3-star. Let me check him. 4.43B. I mean, that's okay. I could probably do better. Let's keep going. Here's another one out of Texas. His hands may go up. No, he's actually much slower. And here's a kid out of Oklahoma that's actually kind of close. Let me go ahead and just check him. 4.24A-. I think I may just put a scholarship on that kid. I think that's where we'll stop for now. Let me just see. Alabama, Oklahoma, Peter Evans. I'm going to leave that one as is. He looks kind of slow. So let's go after a couple of those. Fullback, we don't need. Wide receiver, we don't need. But let me just check here. You never know. There may be a JUCO 4-star. Like here's a JUCO 4-star out of California. We can go ahead and scout. 4.39B+. That's not bad. But let's keep going. Not the best. Let's look at some tight ends. I wouldn't mind finding one, even though we're going to move Kirk. So here's a 5-star, not a JUCO, 4-star, not a JUCO. Actually, what I need to do, I just completely forgot. Let's go to state prospects. As you can see here, Iowa does not produce a lot of talent. Not a single 4-star in sight, but here are some 3-stars and whatnot. A guard, free safety, outside linebacker. We don't need help in any of these, so I'm just going to go right back to where we were, unfortunately. But we did pick up some in-state guys in the regular season. So when it comes to tight end, let's see. I don't know. Here's a kid out of Texas. What we need here is guys who can catch, do their thing, run a little bit. 4.6B hands, not bad there. Kid out of Indiana. Iowa, the 2-star, I'm going to end it there. I'm not super excited about this kid. B hands is fine, but he's really, really small, even for a tight end. So I don't think I'm not going to bother with any of those. We're good at tackle. We're good at guard, unless I'm just going to check. Like here's a JUCO 5-star. I probably need to go ahead and try him. Again, that's my new rule. So let's go ahead and let me just scout. Yeah, 705 on the squad. Just ridiculous. Let's just go ahead and put a scholarship on him. Again, JUCO guy. Guard, we don't need anybody here, so I'm not going to bother. We already got way too many young guys anyways. We do need help at center. Here's a 4-star. None of the 4-stars are JUCOs. But here's one out of Oregon, Florida, and Illinois. Let's look at this kid out of Florida. His awareness isn't good enough, so I'm not going to bother there. What I may end up doing is possibly moving a guard over the center since we have so many. That is possible. But Illinois is a pipeline. Let me go ahead and check this guy. This is what I need. I need somebody who's really smart, not too worried about the size. And the world looks like we're already at the top of his list. Let's just go ahead and put a scholarship on him. Looks like he may be our lone guy that we'll go after. Good job. All right, defensive end, 5-star, but he's not a JUCO. What about these 4-star guys? Nope. And here's some 3-stars. Let me look at these 3 right here. Texas, Alabama, and Illinois. Let's look at this guy. I need a scout. 4.73. He's really big. He's more of a right end than a defensive end, which is okay. Let me check out this guy. I need speed at both sides. 4.82. He's humongous. He looks like a 3.4 defensive end. I'll probably try this guy. Looks like he really wants to go to Texas, though. Honestly, I just don't think he fits what I'm looking for, so I don't think I'm going to bother. So let's just go ahead and just move on. Defensive tackle, I wouldn't mind finding one more. 4-star guys, not JUCO. Here are a couple of 3-star guys. Let me see. One out of Missouri, Indiana, and Arkansas. I like this guy out of Missouri that's really close to us. Let me go ahead and scout him. Let me see. 6.55. That's not bad on the strength. And bench is not too bad either. He may be the one I'll go after. I'm going to go ahead and just put a scholarship on him. Knock that one out. Next up, outside linebacker. We got a bunch of 4-star kids, but we are good there. We got 3 coming back with 1 already committed. Middle linebacker, different story. So 5-star, he's not a JUCO. Let's look at any of these 4-star guys. I don't see a single JUCO. So now we're down to the 3 stars where it doesn't matter. All right, Texas, Hawaii, California, Oklahoma. So let's go back to this Texas kid. Clint Fritz. Pretty much, I just need somebody who's pretty smart, fairly fast. 4.52, that's good enough. And we're at the top of his list. I think we got a good chance of getting him. Look how big he is. 5'11", not super tall, but very heavy. Let's just go ahead and do that. How many points? I got 66 points left. I think I'm okay. Hawaii, California, Oklahoma, that's kind of close. California, Illinois. Let's check out this guy. 4.6, A+. A little too slow for my liking. Again, we run a ton of man. I need guys who can chase guys around all over the place. Another Oklahoma kid, 4.48. But he's a 4.6. That's why you scout, to find out what they really can do. Tons of, look at all these 3-star kids. Just ridiculous. There's a 4.71. I'm not going to bother there. Florida, 4.63. Gotta be careful here. 4.56. And now we're down to a 2-star kid. So out of all of those, probably this is the best of the bunch, I think. So let's just go ahead, and we've already put a scholarship on him. So I think I'm going to quit there for now. Remember, we've got the week 2 guys to look at too. Cornerback, we don't need any help here. And this guy's not a JUCO, so I'm not going to bother. Free safety. Here's a 4-star JUCO. Is it worth going after? And he's a pipeline kid. 4.43. I may go ahead and just put a scholarship on him. He may be able to start right away. We'll see. But him being a 4-star guy, I think it's worth at least trying. Strong safety, nobody's interested. No offense to that kicker or that 1-star guy. We don't need any kickers, but we do need to help a punter. Here's a 4-star kid out of Texas. He's not a JUCO, so I'm not going to do that. But here's a 3-star kid out of Arizona. Not a bad leg. A+ on the power, A- on the accuracy. I'm going to go ahead and just put a scholarship on him for now. So that is it for all these guys. I've done all the scouting I needed to do. So I think I've done a good job on the points, because as you can see, we got 32 points to spare. So what I'm going to do is go up to current targets, and we're going to max these out on some guys. What's more important? Let me look at the positions of big need, like a couple of these halfbacks. Let me go ahead and max out, like, I want to do like 16 for this guy, 16 for this guy, and now we're just down to 4 points. So let me go back to the very top. Probably the center, no, punter, defense tackle. Let's just go ahead and do this on this tackle. Might as well. We'll do 4 here, and then we'll do 4 for this guy. So there you go. We're down to 0 points. So that was a pretty quick week. Again, that's not going to be a very big class, but let's head on to the next week. Oddly enough, we picked up a commitment in week 1. That's very rare. But the middle linebacker, Clint Fritz. So that means I am good at middle linebacker. Let me go ahead and just mark that off my notes. Very good pickup. He was the best of what I needed. I just needed somebody who was some speed, and he's actually pretty smart too. So let's go to current targets. Was there anybody that committed elsewhere? So this free safety is going to Illinois. That's not a big deal. We got bodies there, but it was worth a shot. Anybody else? Nope, that is it. So let's go up to the very top, and let's just see, out of the gate, this 5-star tackle got program prestige as a positive pitch. Let's go ahead and do 16 for now. I may move that up a little bit later. Defensive tackle, nice. We're going to go ahead and do 16 for him. What about the punter, D. Smith? We need to figure out what he is into. I'm going to do location. Any 3-star kid usually loves location. If that doesn't work, we'll try playing time after that. But let's do location next. Halfback, yes, big time. We need this kid in the worst way. Jared Shack, positive pitch. What about the center, Matt Long? Boom, there we go. This is working pretty well. Halfback, Joel Russell. Oh my gosh, look at all these positive pitches. This is going great. So that was that's probably the best I've ever done in terms of efficiency. What? 6 out of the 7 had a positive pitch? That's just insane. I love it. Or how many total we're going after now? Yeah, 5 of the 6 at least had a positive pitch. So we're going to go back and add more points to them. But first, we got to look at some other things. The next thing we got to do is go to all prospects and go find these right here, the down arrow. So this 5-star quarterback was mad that we didn't recruit him. So there's a chance that we could go after that kid. Now, obviously, he's not a JUCO, so I'm not going to bother. But you get the idea. So let's go over to athlete. And let me look at any JUCO with the down arrow until you get to the 3 stars. And then we kind of have to pay attention there. So now we're down to the 3-star. Let's look. Here's a 3-star kid out of Louisiana. See, these are some other guys that were already interested. Here's a kid out of Texas, 5'7", 166. Let's just go ahead and scout him. So this is what you do in week 2. You scout them just to give them attention. So I'm going to go ahead and put athlete A. Henderson. Write his name down. So you notice 4.22 A+ hands. He's really small. He looks like a Jonathan Doty, to be honest. I hope we can go get in his top 5 next week. That would be ideal. Let's see. Some other guys. We've already looked at these other ones, but these 2 right here, let's see. Ohio, Louisiana. Let me look at the Ohio kid. He's a quarterback. I'm not going to bother. And I'm only going to do 3-star and above. So here's a 3-star kid out of Texas. Let's look at this guy. 6 feet 224, 437. I don't know what he can do. He doesn't have good hands. So does that mean he's a halfback? I don't know. Either way, always take a chance on the athletes. You just never know with these kids. Jay McKenzie. We lost one McKenzie. Maybe we can add another one. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so those are it for the athletes. Quarterback, I mean, unless there is a JUCO, like here's a JUCO out of Indiana. Like this kid right here, I'm going to go ahead and scout him. I'm not going to go after him. His accuracy is nowhere near good enough for what I need, but it was worth a shot. But we don't need a quarterback, so I'm okay with that. Halfback, we've already looked at this guy. We can't do it because he's not a JUCO. Same with this guy. He's not a JUCO, but let's keep going. I probably need to speed this up, make it a little bit easier on myself. So let's keep going. Do we have, here's a 3-star kid out of North Carolina. That's a little too far out. Let's go Florida. That's a pipeline. Let's look at this kid. 4.35 C+. I'm not going to put his name down. He doesn't really fit. His speed's decent enough, but his hands are not. So let's keep going. Here's another one out of Texas. Let me look at this guy. 4.33 A+. That's a little more like it. So let me go ahead and put his name down. Aaron McPherson. Very long names I've been writing down. What about, let's keep going. Here's another 3-star kid out of Texas. Jeremy Wilson. 4.48B. Nope, that's a little too slow for my liking. For this offense, at least. Let's try. Here's a 3-star kid out of California. I'm not going to bother. And I think that's it for the halfbacks. We're good at fullback. I don't care. Wide receiver. Let me just check. Do we have any down arrows that were not in the top 5? Here's a 4-star, but he's not a JUCO. Let's keep going. 4-star, non-JUCO. Now we're down to a 3-star Illinois. I can look at him. This isn't the biggest of needs, but let me just check this guy. 4.43 A+, 6'4", 200. I may just go ahead and just look at him. I'm already down to 44 points. I got to be careful, so I'm going to quit on the receivers because, again, it's not a need. But N. Vickers, write that name down. So now let's move on. Tight end. Here's a 3-star kid out of Florida. Let me just check. 4.73 B+. That's just not enough there for me. I'm sorry. I need somebody with some speed. And it's not the biggest need at the moment, but here's a kid out of Louisiana. Here's a couple Ohio. Let me look at this Ohio kid. No, he ain't going to fit it. That's for sure. Okay, that's it for them. We're good at tackle. We're already going after that 5-star kid. We're good at guard. Here's a 5-star that's not a JUCO. Center, not a JUCO. Let's see, not a JUCO. And we're already going after one I think fits the bill anyways. Here's a 3-star kid out of North Carolina. A lot of North Carolina kids seem to be interested. Arkansas, let me just see here. Let's try it. 4.24 A+. I'm going to put his name down just in case. Because, again, we need some help there. Center, Anthony Myrick. Okay. Defensive end, not a JUCO. 4-star, not a JUCO. Not a JUCO. Now we're already down to the 3-star. Florida kid, 6'5", 305. Surely he's not that fast for that size. That's more like it. I was fixing to say, I'm like, that dude is just absolutely humongous. I mean, that's a defensive tackle. Should I put his name down, though? He would be an amazing right end if he was a little bit faster. I'll go ahead and put the name down just because we need a body there. Lamar Underwood. That's the all-name team, that's for sure. That's by far the best name we've seen so far. 3-star kid out of Washington. Some more 3-star kids. Here's a couple Texas ones. 4.82. He's probably not going to be fast. This kid right here could be, but he's super slow, super little. I'm not going to bother. 6'2", 212. He needs to be playing linebacker. I'm going to keep on going. Defensive tackle. Let me just look for any of these guys because we're running out of points. That's the key. 4-star, not JUCO. 6'2", 285. 6'5", 297. I'm going to go ahead and scout him. J.D. Gore, that's a good name. We'll put his name down. J.D. Gore. And that's it for there. Outside linebacker, we're good. Middle linebacker, not a JUCO. Let's see. Any of these guys are JUCOs? Nope. Now we're down to the 3-star like normal. We're already going after one of them. Is that correct? No, we actually got one committed. That's right. So we're good there. I'm actually not going to bother. Corner, we're good, but let me just check out these 5-star kids. Again, you never know. No JUCOs. No JUCO. Let's go to free safety. We already went after one. He already committed elsewhere to Illinois. I'm not seeing any JUCOs, and already down to a 3-star. We're kind of good at this position. Strong safety. Here's a 4-star, but he's not a JUCO. And again, this isn't a really big need for us. Kicker, this isn't a need for us either, but you just never know. Punter can be a little bit different. 4-star out of Texas. Again, I would love to go after him, but we can't. He's not a JUCO. What about this 3-star kidder out of Indiana? I think we got a good chance of getting the Smith kid, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I think that is it for the week 2 guys. So we got a few points left, so I'm going to go back up to current targets, and we're going to max out some guys. Let's go ahead and max out this tackle. I think that's a good idea. Next up, can we max out anybody else? Let me just make sure. I can't max out. I think the rest of them I can't max out because I just don't have the points for it. So what we can do is for this kid right here, there's this one, D. Smith. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put 8 points there. Now we're already down to 0. So that was very easy and efficient. All right, good deal. So next up, let's move on to the next week. We picked up the 5-star JUCO tackle from Virginia, Deion Cox. That's a great pickup. It's something not really big of need, but I'm happy to have him. He's a junior, which means we're going to have him for a couple of years. But either way, I like this new rule. I think it really fits kind of where we're at and whatnot. So we picked him up. That's awesome. And we also got a halfback, Joel Russell. So I'm going to mark this down to where we'd like to get maybe one more halfback. So that's good. At least we got another body in that halfback room. So let's go back to our current targets. Do we have anybody that committed elsewhere? Nope, that was it. Not bad. So let's look at these other 4 that we're looking at. Defensive tackle, we're in great shape here. We just need to put some points on him for now. This kid, the punter, we need to find out what he is into. Let's do playing time. Next up, halfback. We're going to do, yes, we still got a positive pitch for him. And the center should be the same thing. All right, so we're good there. So now what we got to do is go over to Instant Prospects and go find those week 2 guys that we listed. So let's go over to Athlete. We got A. Henderson. He is a 3-star kid, I think. There he is, right there. Andy Henderson out of Texas. 422, A+ hands. We're on his list. Let's go ahead and we'll do location for now. Good deal. So I'm going to go ahead and mark him off. That way we don't have to look him up later. Then we got McKenzie. There he is, Jay McKenzie. Let's go ahead and just take a chance on him because, again, with athletes, you just never know. Let's do location for him. I'm going to go right ahead and mark him out. Next up, we got halfback. It is McPherson. I don't remember what he was. A 3-star kid. There he is. Nice. Week 2. Out of Texas. He's fast. He's got good hands. Let's go ahead and do location for him. I'm going to go ahead and just put scholarships on all these guys. We may have to cut some dudes later, which is fine. Let's go to, we got a wide receiver in Vickers. Is he on here? There he is, 3-star kid out of Illinois, 6'4", 200 pounds, A+ hands, which is key for me. Let's go ahead and put a scholarship on him. And we got a positive pitch. Boom. Nice. Go ahead and mark him off. Next up, center. We have a center in Myrick. I don't see him on there, so let's move on. He may show up in the next week. Defensive end, Underwood. I don't see an Underwood on here. And I have to be careful because we're running out of options for defensive end. I may have to put a scholarship on this kid right here. Let me just go ahead and do that just for safety reasons, because you just never know. Let's go ahead and put a scholarship on that guy. So let's try defensive tackle is next, and that is J.D. Gore. There he is. Let's see what we got here. We're at least on his list now. Let's go ahead and do location for him. So let's go back to current targets. And now all we got to do is max out some of these other points for some of these guys. So like this wide receiver, actually, I want to do it. What's more important? Another halfback, a couple of these athletes, the center, this defensive end, we don't have a positive pitch on him yet. So I'm not going to put any more than I need to. Let's just go back up at the very top. Let's look at this wide receiver. We've done 16. Let's just do 30 there. Defensive tackle, I'm going to do 30 here. We don't know yet. Punter, we don't know yet. Halfback, let's just do 30 here. Halfback, we don't know yet. Athlete, we don't know. Another athlete, we don't know. Defensive end, we don't know. And center, we do know. We're going to put 30 on that guy. So we got how many points left? 20 points. So let's go up and go up to this punter. This is kind of important. Let me go up to him. I'm going to take him off. We're going to do 16 for him. The other thing of need, we've already got one halfback. What about one of these? Probably this defensive end seems to matter. Let me go ahead and do like 8 for that guy. And there you go. We're down to 0 points. Nice. So let's go ahead and do that. And now let's move on to the next week. Nice little crop of recruits. Center, the 3-star kid, that is an area of need. We can mark that off. Then we picked up a couple more halfbacks. So I think we're good at halfback now. Don't you agree? We got both of them, Aaron McPherson and Jared Shack. And we got that wide receiver, which is awesome. The JUCO kid. No, he wasn't a JUCO. He's just a 3-star kid that just looked the part. My bad. Either way, really good to be in. Very good spot. So we got 4 guys left. I could probably... So with JD Gore, I need to mark him off. And Myrick, we already got the center. Is that correct? Let me just make sure. We did get that center, so we can mark out the Myrick guy. Don't need him. The only thing else is that defensive end, his name was Underwood, and we've got this Wallace kid we're looking at as well. So let me look at this defensive tackle. Let me max him out. So let me max, we don't know about this guy yet. Let's do Coach Prestige. I'm going to do like 8 for him. We don't know about this guy. We'll do 8 for him for now. The punt, we need to figure what this guy needs. I mean, because we need some help there. Let's go there. And then defensive end, Matt Wallace. Good. We're going to put 16 points there. So that is it. The only thing else is, again, let me look at the other defensive end. Is he on here? Defensive end, Underwood. He's not on the list. I guess he's just not interested at all. The other only situation is at punter. If I'm not mistaken, let me look. Yeah, punter. We got the 4-star I can't go after, and here's a kid out of Oklahoma. I mean, I may have to go after this 1-star kid. Let me go ahead and just like scout him. His accuracy is terrible, but I mean, I got to get after somebody. Or no, we got one guy back. That's right. We got one guy coming back. Hold on. Let me just look here. We got a punter coming back. So I think we can survive without, if we don't get this D. Smith kid. So I'm not going to waste a scholarship or points on this punter. There's no point in it. So I think we're good. So let me just go back to current targets. Let me see if I've maxed everything out correctly. And we got 30 points. Let me just do 30 for that guy. Now we're down to 8. And I can't do any more than that. I got 8 points left, so I'm honestly just not going to worry about it. We are good to go. So let's just move on to the final week. More good news. We picked up a defensive tackle, JD Gore. I can mark him off. And a punter. We finally got that guy. We spent like 1 million points on him over these last few weeks, but we finally got him. And we got a defensive end, which is good. I could still maybe check that Underwood kid because we got 1 week left. So that's kind of it, really. So you go over to current targets. Did we have anybody commit elsewhere? A couple. These 2 athletes. Oh, that's a shame. Which is fine. I don't think we'll need either one, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of both. And if you notice here, we already got, we're well over the limit. Actually, we're right at 70, which is, oh, wow, that actually worked out perfectly. Nice. Good job, Al. So the only thing I'm going to look at is this one other defensive tackle. We can still max him out. I don't know if he'll ever commit, but I do want to check out that other defensive end. Underwood. Did we finally make his list? And we did. All right, no big deal. Oh, here's a JUCO 3-star I think we looked at. Yeah, he's really slow. We don't need him. So that is it. So I'm going to just make sure we've maxed out this one guy that's left. You can't have too many defensive tackles in our defense. So that is it. Let's finish up recruiting. After several weeks of going after this kid, we finally got another defensive tackle. So we loaded up there at that position with 3 of them. So we are done with recruiting. Let's look at a few things. Let's go to view signings. And we picked up, let's start off, no athletes, not a quarterback, but we got 3 halfbacks. So that worked out. The choice was to not go after Rio, which left us with only 2 halfbacks, which means we had a lot of halfbacks interested in us, even in an offense to where we didn't run the ball all that much. Still, we loaded up this group with that class, and I really love it. Really excited about what they can do. All 3 of these guys all kind of fit the bill. Fullback, we didn't get any there. Wide receiver, we picked up 2 guys. A 4-star kid he was the in-state player in the regular season, and we got a 3-star kid, Nick Vickers. He looks like a natural outside receiver. Hawkins, depending, he run 4.35. He may be a slot receiver. We'll see. No tight ends. We were okay there. Tackle. This was the one JUCO kid that was a part of my new role that we went after. So I'm really excited to have him. Let's see. We did pick up a center. That was a need. Matt Long. I don't know if he'll play in a couple of years, maybe. Defensive end, we did get one. It looks like he's going to be a natural right end in our defense. We did pick up some defensive tackles. We needed help here. We always need plenty of bodies. Outside linebacker, this guy was in the regular season. Alan Patterson, good to have him. Middle linebacker, he was our first commitment of the offseason. Good to have him. Free safety, nope. And we did pick up a punter, the 3-star kid out of Arizona. We'll probably redshirt him. So if you go to top classes, so this is interesting. The top two, Texas and Oklahoma. I think Texas is desperate to get back to their winning ways. These last couple seasons, they have not done well at all. There's a good chance they may be in our schedule next year. We'll see. Oklahoma, they're right there, so we'll play them eventually. Keep on going. Let's see. There it is. Texas A&M is on the list. Nebraska. So what? 4 of the top 10 were Big 12 schools. There's Texas Tech. So 11 was, so what? 5 of the top 11 are Big 12 schools. So where are we? I'm going to quickly just go through these. We are 32nd. That doesn't surprise me because of how small the class is. Only 14 kids, but we did get a 4-star, and a 5-star, and a bunch of 12-star kids. All right, let's go out and let's finalize recruiting. And the next thing we're going to do is position changes. So we don't have any athletes to look at, but when it comes to everything else, we may not have a whole lot of changes to make. So here we are, we're quarterback. Don't have to worry about that. Halfback, we're not moving anybody, but this is going to be our first chance to look at some of these freshmen. So here's Aaron McPherson. He's a 74. Jared Shack is a 74. And Joe Russell is a 68. However, look at their speed. That's what I needed. I need speed here. And these guys got decent catching ratings. Now, 68 doesn't look like good. It's a good rating, but trust me, for halfback, it's more than enough. It's actually better than what Doty has, and Doty caught the ball pretty well. Fullback, they will move somebody here. I could probably, I don't have anybody here that can actually play defense or that can play fullback. I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just let the game force a walk on there, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Wide receiver, what about that other? We picked up a couple guys. Dwayne Hawkins is a 74, and looks like Vickers is a 72. Looks like he, I don't know. We'll say down the road. Look, either way, none of these guys are going to have to play for a while, so you can see with all the good bodies we got here. Tight end, we didn't bring up anybody new. We don't have to move anybody there. However, go to receiver. It's this kid right here, Kirk. Let's go ahead and try him at tight end. Look at that. Automatically, he's going to be a better tight end. I'm going to go ahead and put him there. So you go to tight end. There he is at 74 overall, 76 speed. And he's got a good enough catch to help us out here. So I think that was a good move for us, moving Kirk over the tight end. I think that's like the only one we're really going to have to do. But let's check out some linemen. See, our right tackle, he's back. Our left tackle is back as well. We did pick up this true freshman. No, the JUCO guy. What was his name? So here's the thing when it comes to these JUCO guys. Oh, this is him right here, Deion Cox. He doesn't have a number yet. Where's a good place to put him? We got a senior there, a junior there. I will probably keep him at left tackle. I don't think it really matter. But I do need to move somebody to right tackle. I don't know I don't think it'll matter per se. I'm going to redshirt Deion Cox. I don't mind redshirting JUCO guys, especially if he ain't going to start next year because we got these two guys right here. So I think I may move him. We'll keep him at right. We can just move like this guy to, yeah, we'll move this guy to right. I'm okay with that. Again, it doesn't really matter if you put him at left or right. Guard, we didn't have to do anything new here, so I think I'm going to leave all that as is. Center. Here's that new freshman, Matt Long. We'll redshirt him. Defensive end, where is the new guy? Matt Wallace. He is going to be a right end just because of his size and his slow fleet of foot. Again, look at his speed, just 72. But let me just check here. I need some better speed. So Davidson, let me look. This guy, 220, 242. I think I'm okay with leaving those as is. These are the two faster ones. And this guy's only 242. This guy's 244. What about the agility? 74, 76. I think I'm okay with leaving all those as is. All right. Yeah. Defensive tackle. We don't have to do anything here. They're all just straight up defensive tackles. Outside linebacker. We need all these to be left outside linebackers. Middle linebacker. Here's this new freshman. That was a good pickup. Clint Fritz. Good job. We'll look at the freshman a little bit more later. And I may do a little something special over on Patreon with those. Cornerback. We didn't have to do anything new here. Free safety. We didn't add anything new. We didn't add anything new for strong safety. Nothing for kicker. But we did pick up a new punter. Look at that. He's a 76 overall. Good pickup, Al. Nice. But we still, I think we can redshirt him. So that's it. That was the only position change we had to make. So let's move on to the next phase. Time to do some training. This was a big, important factor with our school budget. We had a lot of our points put into position or into training. As you can see here, we got a couple dudes that went up +7. Look at that, our center, 98 overall now with that +7. That is awesome. But let's go up to quarterback. So it looks like everybody went up either 2 or 6. So there is Johnson and Falk and McNeil. So who's going to be our starting quarterback next year? I don't know. We'll figure that out. Halfback, Crawford went up 4. Doty went up 6. Good for him. Doty may end up being our #1 guy just because of that speed. We'll see. Fullback, we don't have to worry about that. Wide receiver, everybody pretty much went up 2 or 4. Miller looks to be our top guy still. Tight end, Baker went up 3 and Neal only went up 2. Unfortunately, Baker doesn't have the best catch rating in the world, so I don't think nothing's really going to change here, but Temple went up 4. He's a redshirt freshman. This was the kid that we really got excited about in the last recruiting class. I think this guy could be really good for us. He may end up being a backup. He may be behind Neal, and we may have Baker in 3rd. We'll just see what we do with that. I may split up the reps. Offensive line, 4 for the left tackles, 86 and 80. What about left guard? 5 and 4. This is what happens when you dump a ton of points into training. You get a lot of boost right here. Look at that, 98 for Owens. That is awesome. At right guard, our top guy went up 4. Right tackle, everybody went up 3 or 4. Now we got a right tackle, a junior that is a 93 overall. So training has been working well. Left end, 82 and 80. Right end, 82s. Defensive tackle, we got some dudes in the 80s, mid-80s now. That's great. Left outside linebacker. Look at this situation. So we got Alford is a senior, 94 overall. Then we got Burton, who's the backup, who's at 91. We may keep the same thing. These may be our 2 starting linebackers, and we may have a couple of these guys, I don't know, just have to sit and wait. Anyway, just a good problem to have. Let's go to cornerback. Everybody went up all over the place. But everybody came back except for Mason. He graduated. Free safety, everybody went up 2 or 4. Strong safety, look at these guys. Wheeler went up 6. Sims went up 6. But our best guy, our starter all last season, was Little. He'll probably still be our starter just because of the speed. I need speed back there. So let's go look at kicker. He went up 4, and that's good. And our starting punter next year is Jamal Hughes. He's an 82 overall. All right, let's move on to the next phase. We have to cut 2 players. As you can see here, we got 72 on the roster. We need 70. We can't cut this true freshman fullback who is a walk-on. And besides, we don't have anybody else behind him. So we got to go cut somewhere. So we got a bunch of quarterbacks. I'm probably going to cut one of these guys. No offense to them. What I may end up doing, I'm not going to cut this senior. I'm going to let him go out naturally. This kid right here, Brian McNeil, I just don't think he'll ever see the field with all these other young guys. Like we said, we got another senior, a sophomore, and a sophomore. I think I may cut this freshman. I'm going to go just check this real quick. Throw power is a 91. It's right up there, and his accuracy is pretty good. I just hate to cut a senior when I know he's going to be gone anyways. I think this will help with recruiting as well. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut this guy. No offense to him. Let's just go ahead and do that. Again, we just got a ton of bodies here. So now we got 2 seniors, which means we'll have 3 guys coming back next year, which is a nice natural number for this position. We're good at halfback. I don't know if I'll cut any of these guys because we run a lot of 2-back looks and such. The only other spot I can think of, we got a ton of receivers. Freshman. I'm not going to cut the true freshman. Tight end, we're kind of good there because we got a couple upperclassmen. Tackle, we got a true sophomore down here that he may end up redshirting. He's humongous. We got some guards. Where else can we cut? I don't want to cut this center. These guys are kind of hard to come by. Defensive end, no. Defensive tackle, true freshman Kyle Johnson. That was just a bad. See, I hate to cut him though. Here's another freshman. We just need to cut one. We're good there. Corner, I may cut somebody, but we kind of need bodies here because we run dime at times. Free safety, we got a lot of dudes here. I may cut somebody here. Like this redshirt freshman, Ryan Williams. He's a senior. I hate to cut this guy just because he is a senior. I may see this is going to be a big area of need for us next year. Let me just keep looking. I may have to cut one of these. If I want to cut anywhere, it's probably one of these guys. But I need some speed back there. So I'm going to keep Williams. I want to keep Dodd, obviously. 76 speed is just too slow. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's just go ahead and do that. And now we're down to 3. So now you notice this turned white, which means you go over to everybody on the roster, the all page, and now we're down to 70. So we're good to go. All right, let's move on to the next phase. Here is your next Iowa State Cyclone roster for season 4. Let's go look at some of the new guys. I may change a number or two. Let's just see. But start off with the all page. We got 5 guys in the 90s. It's the first time we've had that in forever. But, you know, our center, our starting outside linebacker, and Trey Alford. Our right tackle, cornerback Chad Smith as a junior, Colton Burton as a junior. It wouldn't shock me if some of these juniors would want to go pro after this year, but that's a good problem to have, all these juniors being that good. But the training has worked really well for us these last couple of seasons. Let's go look at quarterback. We didn't pick up anybody new, so nothing really changes here. I don't know who's going to start. We will look at that in the preseason video. I'll make up my mind. It'll be probably Dean or Peoples or John. I know all 3 of these guys looked apart. We'll see. Halfback, really excited about these guys. So all of these guys, the little speedsters, these 3 right here, I may give them a little better numbers just because they're so fast. Like here's a kid, Aaron McPherson. So he's number 26. What if I gave him something else? Let me look at their numbers first. Let me go back out. So none of these guys are all that super talented overall wise, but we also gave Doty, he was the same situation, but we gave him a really good number. So let me just go back and let's just see. 26, let's see. Let's give him 6. How about that? I'm okay with that. And what about Shaq? Number 3, we're going to leave him there. And then we got Joel Russell, 25. Let's give him something a little bit cleaner. 25. So let's try. I think we may just leave him at 25. That's okay. Let's just do that. Next up, we got a wide receiver. We picked up a couple of guys. So neither one of these guys. So like Dwayne Hawkins is 85. That's fine. Nick Vickers, I'm going to let him keep 24 because that's just an oddball number for a receiver. I'm surprised he picked it. So I think I'm okay with letting him have that. Tight end, we didn't pick up anybody new. Kirk has moved over from receiver to tight end. I'm going to let him keep 84. Tackle, we picked up the Cox kid. He's number 60. I'm going to let him keep that. That's fine. I really don't care about the line numbers. Guard, we didn't pick anybody new there. Center, we didn't pick up anybody new except for this kid, Matt Long. He can stay at 62. Defensive end, we picked up Matt Wallace, 98. He can have that. That was McKenzie's number last year, if I'm not mistaken. Defense tackle, we picked up a few new guys. These 3 right here, 90, 53, 94, 91. I think we're good at defensive tackle for a while. We're losing a couple, but we're going to have 5 coming back next year. So we're going to redshirt probably all 3 of these guys. Outside linebacker, we picked up a new guy, 68 overall, Alan Patterson, 56. He can keep it. Middle linebacker, Clint Fritz. This was our best pickup possibly of the recruiting class. 78 overall is great. He's got great speed. I'm going to give him something better than 43. Let's give him something 43, 14, 13, 11. I may give him 13. Let's go ahead and do that. Instead of 43, let's give him 13. I feel like he's going to earn it. I think he's going to be a starter for us probably in the next year or so. I know we got Higgins as a starter right there for a couple of years, but I think this guy's going to be special. Cornerback, we didn't pick up anybody new, so we're good here. For free safety, same thing, same with strong safety. We do have a punter who is this kid right here, 44 D Smith. I'm going to let him keep that. That's a typical punter number. All right, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, off-season video. You can't go wrong with it. It's always fun. Next up, we're going to have the preseason video. I can't wait to dive into that. We'll set up our schedule, do more recruiting, and do some other fun stuff as well. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.